In this example Python program, we're going to imagine a user logging onto a terminal. We are going to test the credentials using both nested ifs and Boolean ANDed conditions. This Python logon program is available at the URL seen. We see here a picture of it loaded into Visual Studio Code, and on the right we see the interaction with the user in the terminal. We start off with a comment that says what our scenario is. We have a single user. That single user is going to log on to a terminal by entering a username and password, and then we're going to test to make sure the correct username and password were entered. We're going to do that twice, once using nested ifs and once using Boolean ands, as this program is really just a demo program of some basic control structures. So the first thing we're going to do is declare and initialize the target username and password. We're going to use marksg1 as the username, swordfish as the password. And we see here that in Python, we do not have to specify a type, that Python is dynamically typed. It will figure out from the data entered what the type of the variable is. Lines 14 and 15, we are prompting the terminal user to enter a username and password by using the input method. Then in line 18, we start our if-else structure, and we ask if the attempted username put in by the user and the actual username, if those two strings are equal. So it's an easier string comparison than, say, in other languages where you must use some sort of string compare method. It will directly compare what you want, the value of one string and the value of the other string, to see if they are equal. So in 18, we're asking the question, is what the user typed for the username equal to the actual username? If that's true, then we're going to go to 19 and start executing that code. If it is false, we're going to go down to the else 23 that matches the if of 18, and there we will just print bad username. If the user attempt was equal to the username, then we go into 19 and we ask a further question if the password attempt is equal to the actual password. So we have an if inside one of the branches of another if. This is known as nesting ifs. We see here that compared to some other languages, we are using sort of colons and indenting rather than curly brackets. So the indenting is very important to keep track of in Python. So in 19, we ask our follow-up question about the password, and if that it is true that the password attempt is equal to the password, and we're only asking about the password if the username is matched, then we will print good credentials. Otherwise, in 21, if the passwords don't match, we will print bad password. And we're just showing here that we can distinguish between bad password and bad username in this nested if structure. That might not be what we want to do security-wise, but it is what we can do with nested ifs, and that's our goal here, is to demonstrate nested if. Here we are sort of repeating our logon process. So in 27 and 28, we are once again asking the terminal user to input an attempted username and an attempted password. And then in 31, we are asking simultaneously about the matching of the usernames and the matching of the passwords with a Boolean and in between. So we have two conditions. A condition can be true or false. The usernames can match true or not match false, and the same thing for the passwords. The passwords can match true or not match false. And with a Boolean and, both conditions must be true for the overall ANDed condition to be true. So if the username matches and the password matches, then we will go into the true branch of line 32 and print good credentials. Otherwise, if one or the other or both of those conditions fail, or are false, then we will go to the false branch of this if and go to 33, and at line 34 print bad credentials. So here we are not distinguishing between what failed, whether it was the username or the password or both.